So one of the things we wanted to talk about, we'll get to some current events going on that we wanted to talk about later. They're actually pretty funny. But one of the things we wanted to talk about was a friend of ours was asking us a question because, we do SEO and we have some knowledge on it, and he knew about it. So he's been getting these cold calls from an SEO company that at first, when he first described it, I thought, well, they're probably not real credible. But they actually were not. They were making points in the phone call that actually made them sound like they knew what they were talking about.
And you get those with SEO, you get those with Google AdWords, you get those with a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, we can optimize things for you. We can make you
And generally
better.
they're like, oh, okay, we can do it for X amount of money, and it's generally they're too little or too much money, and they're, you wonder if they're really any good.
Right.
But they actually made some good points. So you and I, as we're talking to him, go to his website on our cell phones.
But we Google it first.
Yes, and that didn't end up very well, did it?
Well, the problem with him is that he's in a business where his family members, other family members, extended and his immediate family members have very similar businesses. So you can't just search for his last name and the business that he's in, because you're going to get
Everybody
cousins and the entire family. So you really have to know his exact name, including his middle initial, to find him.
So I thought, knowing that, okay, so these other guys are going to show up higher, especially if they have newer websites that are optimized for Google and search engines. But as we started getting to page 4 and 5 of Google, we started seeing national search results, and we started seeing things that were completely unrelated. So his ranking was so low that Google didn't even, they didn't even realize he existed. Right? Except for the Google Places ad, which showed up right at the top of the page, which I don't understand, but I guess it's good for him that he even shows up there, right?
Right. As long as you can, so if you claim your spot in Google, as far as like your Google map and everything, I think, that for sure helps your chances, but that's one of the first things, especially as a small business, someone can do, is make sure that from a Google Play standpoint on the Google map that you have claimed that, and you've populated it, you put your hours in there, you put your phone number in there, you put your website in there, so that at least that's one step further that you can get up in the rankings.
It's actually one of our top 5 things we recommended a couple of months ago on our blog, so go back and read that.
That's a plug,
right? So
hey, we need a bell. Ding.
Yeah, right. So we went to his website then, and then found that it's not. While it is technically responsive, the content is not. So you're seeing long strings of text that you can't possibly read because it's a letter on top of a letter on top of a letter.
Looks like the Matrix.
It looks like the Matrix. It looks like the Matrix waterfall.
Yeah.
And it turns out then, so as we talked to him about it, turns out he just had the site redesigned a couple of months ago.
Spent, a couple grand or more.
Yeah. Right.
And he's just beside himself because whenever he did that, he never checked it on the mobile.
Right.
And we checked it on iPads. iPads, it looks okay.
Right. And desktop, it looks fine. But when you go to a cell phone, and 50% of for a lot of websites, I don't know about his business specifically, but usually now 50% of all website traffic is mobile.
His clients are older.
Right. So,
inherently.
Yeah. Right. But so then we do find a couple of pages on Google, and what we find out there is that they lead to 404 pages.
Yep.
So because, and again, this goes to the website redesign, Google indexed, and this is actually happening with a client of ours right now, that they got a new site a while back, and we're doing their SEO. Google indexes the pages from the old website. Mm-hmm. And when you move to a new platform, you either keep the same exact structure so that link that Google already has indexed goes to the same exact page. So if it's www.snap-fwd.com/IT-service/ we will save you a lot of risk and money, you need to have that exact same URL, or when Google sends somebody there, it's going to lead to a 404 page or a page cannot be found, right?
So you need to resubmit for sure.
Well, so you absolutely need to resubmit no matter what. But
how often do you recommend people to resubmit?
We do it a lot. You can do it. I don't remember what the limit.
Monthly, or do you
we
do
do it more than monthly.
Oh, really?
Like, as we make changes a lot of times, and you can do it. I think up to 8 or 10 times per website.
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. So we do it a lot, depending on how many changes are made. But even then, you have to 301 redirect a page. So if it's a slash, Ford Explorer, and it goes to / new Ford Explorer, then you have to 301 the old page to the new page. And I don't expect you to understand all of this, but basically if you go to Google and you search for yourself and you click on the page and you go to it and it goes to a 404, that's bad. So when your person is changing your website over to a new platform, you have to make sure that all of the old pages lead somewhere. They can't just go to a dead end, because eventually they're going to get deprecated by Google and they're not going to show up anymore. You have to 301 them or keep the same structure, is basically the moral of the story.
Yep.
So and if it is responsive, like I can tell you, like if they tell you the page is responsive, it can be responsive, but it actually has to be the content has to actually look good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of my pet peeves, and this is, I don't know how this factors into the actual SEO, but I always appreciate, and maybe it's just more a nice thing to have for the users, but I always appreciate whenever they have view full desktop version on the mobile site.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just can't get into, some menus, first of all, are very complex.
Yeah.
And you can't really, the little drop downs that they have don't do them justice. So I always like, because my phone can do it, looking at it from a full desktop version.
Yeah.
So I always recommend to folks I work with to make sure that full desktop version link is somewhere on there so that they can see it and zoom in and do what they want to do with it, so they understand what your brand is trying to look like normally, even though mobile is a big piece of that.
Well, now, a recommendation from a lot of companies is to design for mobile first.
Yep.
So that you don't run into that problem in the first place.
Oh, it's gonna get more and more. Mobile traffic's gonna grow. It's not gonna go away. So
a lot of people, and it's funny because I use a desktop a lot. I like to use my desktop, but I hear more and more that people are now just using their iPads or using their laptop or using their phone. And we see that in the traffic that we're looking at for our clients. A lot of people are shopping for major purchases. Well, I like to use a desktop. They're shopping for major purchases on their cell phone.
Yeah. Whenever you fire up your desktop, do you have to crank it first?
No, man. I got the fast desktop.